Okay, now we're gonna start.
This is a special situation,
right?
Yeah, we're in the
damage control.
Do you mind if we have a freaking hurricane over here? Jesus Christ!
Remember, the hurricane excuse only is good for one time.
One time.
Yeah.
And then
one time
next week. Oh no, we're still digging out next week. All right, here we go.
Well, it may seem like the weather is slightly improved just by the fact that I'm not being beaten up so severely, but the truth is the wind has just shifted ever so slightly, and as a result, it's just around the corner of this building. If I stepped over there, I would be gone in an instant. It is just like a wind tunnel of massive proportions over there, and the wind is still continuing to blast Corpus Christi as it's been doing for a number of hours, but really the past 2 hours here have been the most intense, and it's starting to have an impact.
This is an ABC News special report. Hurricane Harvey, state of emergency.
You're looking at some of the first images to come out of Rockport, Texas, which was hit by the eye of Hurricane Harvey overnight at around 10:30 local time. We're looking at images of Rockport High School, already severely damaged and likely to be much more damage as this storm, which hit as a Category 4, is likely to sit and spin along the Texas coast for days.
Great people. It's God's country. Get those signs down. Get them down. Evil will happen in Corpus Christi. Get them down.
And welcome to Atheist Airwaves, episode 196. I'm Christian Ferris.
Hey, it's your boy Reb Spence.
I'm Leslie Byerly.
And apparently I'm Heather Schafer.
We record live every Tuesday at 7:30 Central-ish. We're not on time right now, but we invite you to listen live to our show and hang out with the other degenerates in the chat hole. This week, we are not where we usually are. We are in our Southside Hurricane Bunker studios because there are hurricane refugees currently sleeping where we usually record the show. And this is a little bit of a special show. It's going to be maybe a little more serious than what we usually do. And that is why I cannot thank ABC News enough for our intro audio. They actually said on national television that this hurricane was going to sit and spin on South Texas.
It's pretty hot. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I like to see it. I wish maybe it could sit and spin somewhere else.
That's why you picked that one.
Right? No, that's exactly why. I was listening to all these things.
We can't even hurricane.
Some Iron Man just asked, will there still be dick jokes? That is, apparently there's a delay.
Just butt jokes this time. We're, just the sitting and the spinning. I do feel like ABC News producers had a meeting and decided, okay, how do we get our show on Atheist Airwaves?
I feel like they should always have some a gutter-minded degenerate on their marketing team, like one of us, to be like, don't say that.
Yeah, clearly this guy did not think about what he was saying.
If I laugh, you might want to change it up a little bit.
But literally, you just sit in the corner of all their meetings.
Right.
And read all of their scripts.
Does anyone say sit and spin anymore? I haven't heard that in years. Ferris.
Yeah. Well, I'm old. Come at me, chat hole. Man, it's really weird in here because the acoustics are totally different.
Yes. Also, chat hole, he doesn't have a computer, so there will be no banning tonight.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. I can't ban anyone for any length of time. So.
But you will look like an asshole for this particular stream.
Right.
Just saying.
Which I don't think
Fair
you
enough.
give any fucks about.
So we are drinking Hurricanes tonight. And I want to thank our regular chat holder, Prebes, for sponsoring that. He totally unsolicited. Facebook messengered me some cash today and said this was for show provisions. And that's because he's a really good man. I want to make it clear that we do not in any way panhandle for booze. But now that I know, now that I know that we can, and maybe someone would give us money for
we're not going to ask, but it's always welcome.
We're not going to ask, but we're going to make an Amazon wish list. And anything you buy on there.
It's going to be public.
We'll tweet it out every once in a while.
Right.
Yeah. So,
we all have birthdays.
So we're going to have Matt Dillahunty on in a little bit, and we're going to get the brand new president of Corpus Christi Atheists on the phone after that. hurricanes and technology willing, you guys who have been in the chat hole for the last 20 minutes waiting for you to be able to hear anything know that that may or may not happen. Just warning you.
I'm feeling good about it.
Says Reb, who sat there doing nothing the entire time.
I gave moral support.
So we originally weren't going to do a show tonight at all, but there are a lot of people in our local community who need a lot of help right now. And Corpus Christi Atheists has been mobilizing since before the storm got here to help people before, during, and after the storm. We wanted you to get an idea of what it's been like over the last week and what people are really facing, and hopefully get a little help from everybody out there. So I want to get some links out to where you can help right here at the top of the show before we get into all of that. We'll talk later about how you can physically help if you're nearby or can get here somehow. But if you are somewhere else and you would like to donate to our efforts, CCA has a fundraiser that you can donate to at bit.ly.com/CCA Harvey, all lowercase. So that's BITLY, bit.ly.com/CCA Harvey. That's Corpus Christi Atheist Harvey. Anyone from this show who donates $30 or more to that fund will have sent to them from us a coloring book page, colored personally by hosts of this show. Sadly, it's going to be from
I
this
was
show.
informed that I'd be coloring things.
Yeah. It's the least he can do.
He was voluntold.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And it'll come from the fucking awesome coloring book, which is a coloring book that features the word fuck on every page. So that will be...
Which is like our fucking favorite word.
Right. So we'll send you that and a brief letter of thanks to you if you can donate $30 or more. Also, any new Patreon pledges that we get between now and 2 shows from now, all of those existing and new pledges will go into that fund to help people here on the ground in South Texas. Food, water, repair, materials, all that stuff.
Hairspray, that's
so
what I would want.
None of that money is going to go to fixing these messed up microphones.
No.
That'll be later.
No,
So-
I'm going to have to learn like American Sign Language, and y'all are going to have to learn how to understand it. And that's how I'm going to communicate, because eventually my mic's going to go out.
Right. So that you can get access to at patreon.com/Atheist Airwaves. If you would like to donate, but you need to make that donation tax deductible because we are not a 501c3, my advice to you would be to go and donate to the Foundation Beyond Belief. They do great work. You can get to them at bit.ly.com/FBB Harvey, Foundation Beyond Belief Harvey. So Heather solicited hurricane stories from our local community for us to talk about during this show. And there was one from a person here locally, Shay, that I have to start with because, like I said, this is not going to be our usual show. Fewer dick jokes.
Is this
Maybe.
the dick joke? Is this the dick joke?
No, there's no dicks. Well,
Oh,
there's private
no,
dick
there's,
jokes.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. This
Yeah,
is a
there's
good one.
And both kinds of
And also, she's a member of our Corpus Christi Atheists,
Yeah.
a local member.
The show was like 60% dick jokes before. Now it's going to go to like 55% dick jokes.
Right.
So
right.
you're going to start with the entertaining one, and it's just going to be depressing from here on out?
That's right.
Okay.
So, all the laughing stops after this. So
Game faces, people.
she evacuated, and she left her husband in Flower Bluff to ride out the storm. And I
But no, she didn't leave her husband
No, yeah.
in Flower Bluff.
Yes, she did. Because what she did is she left him and said, the hurricane will be
Good
too
luck, fucker.
the hurricane will be too busy eating him to catch them. So I mean, it's legitimate. It's a legitimate strategy. But she wrote this.
It's like when you're being chased by a bear, you like knock the person down that's running
Yeah,
next
exactly.
to you. That way you can get away.
That's exactly what she did. And she's okay, so it worked. So she evacuated down to Laredo, Texas, and this happened to her there. She writes, "Oh my fucking God, Laredo. So I took the kids to Taco Bell to get some food, and on the way back, a woman ran at full speed in front of my car and then stopped. I slammed on my brakes just in time to avoid hitting her. Immediately after, a totally naked man comes running after her, and she takes off running behind some buildings. He slammed into the side of my car, and I thought he was trying to get in, but he was just running too fast." See, when you take off your clothes, the wind drag is a lot less, and you really don't know how fast you can run.
Well,
with that
mind
clothes.
you, she has like a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old in the car with her. when this happened.
Oh, yeah. Scary as hell. I mean, like, it's
Yeah.
funny to us now. But at the time, I have no doubt that that was really, really scary.
Yeah. How do you not just yell, like, the fuck? Like, I would expect that from my 3-year-old if a naked dude, like, hit the side of my car. I would totally expect that from any one of my kids. At that point, I'm totally like, we're good with whatever words. You're not going to get in trouble. Should my 3-year-old look at me and go, the fuck was that? I'd have been like, fucking right.
Mommy, there's sack all over my window. Can I have a sack towel? Anyway, so then great story, right, Gavin? But it's not even over there. So
But there's more.
There's more. So then a white SUV comes screaming up on the right side of the road, and he runs up to it and jumps in the passenger seat. They sped off diagonally across the road in front of me and turned left through 4 lanes of traffic and a red light.
Who was that person,
Right?
though?
And why were they so ready?
Who was waiting around the corner in a white SUV? Like, I knew your naked ass was going to get in trouble. Ah! Like,
There's probably some like YouTube prank video or something.
no. But there's more.
Oh, there's
Well,
more.
there's still more. So the motel, they get back to the motel. The motel send the police to our room, and the officer told me they already got the call, and that guy is her boyfriend, and this is just what they do.
This is a thing they do.
Right. Maybe it's a sex game. I don't know.
Like we go to the movies, and
Oh, so it's not like a YouTube prank video. It's like a Pornhub prank video.
like, dude, I hope it never takes that much effort for me to get my rocks off. I swear. Like, I'm all, wait, you want me to
I
run?
maintenance as fuck.
I'm all, there's running involved? Nope. Especially naked running?
Well, I mean, people streak all the time. That's like
Naked money
a thing that
running out
people
in
do.
public.
Yeah, naked public. Yeah, but that's not to get your rocks off. And it might be. It doesn't get my rocks off because it sounds exhausting.
And people do it at like soccer games and stuff. You see that every once in a while.
That's true. So the cops told her, though, that these people do that all the time, and that it happens so often that the jail won't even take them anymore. That they're just like, you know what, we're tired of seeing them, and and this is like a
They don't
really
Well, you have racked up too many frequent flyer miles.
right
Well, like I assume it's a misdemeanor, but after you do so many misdemeanors, doesn't it get
to be
upgraded to like a felony or
or
something?
like 3 strikes in your, or like at least 30 strikes in your house, something. No, apparently you just get to do it, which is what I'm saying. Like, this is how to be a better criminal.
Just keep doing it over and over.
Go to Laredo and do your crime over and over again until they just say, okay, well, you just get to do that now.
I wish there were more crimes you could do that with. That'd be really convenient.
Right? It's like, you've just murdered so many people. We're tired of coming over here. It's like when the cops come and bang on your door during a party, and you're like, I thought you said you didn't want to come over here again, sir.
Here's the other. Oh, actually, here's what actually happened. The guy driving the car, he's the one with the fetish, and he's paying them to do it. Like, he's not the one running.
Oh, well, then I
they're
guess
getting
I would
money.
run.
That's my theory.
What
Like, if you're
they-
getting paid to
Can't they
run.
just all be together?
That could be.
That's like the simplest.
maybe that's the end of it.
the simplest.
Maybe
that's
his
the end of it.
option.
And then
Maybe-
we go screaming off to back to our house, and we all have sex together. I don't know.
You
Anyway,
were,
if you
you
would
weren't
like
like
to-
talking to us. Like, I don't know if you were
Was that a
talking in
proposal,
person or like had you. Okay, wait for post show and find out if Ferris just proposed to have sex with me and Leslie and Reb.
I'm down.
I'm not. 1, 2, 3, not it.
Remember, like $30, and you get a coloring page of who knows what.
All right, we're like running really late.
We are.
And we have to get to Matt Dillahunty real quick. But we've got more stories from our local community. None as funny as that. They're just depressing from here. Before we talk about Heather and our decision to stay and not evacuate, Reb, you and Leslie both evacuated, yeah?
Yeah, because that was the smart and wise thing to do.
That was the correct thing to do.
Like back when the
That
storm
was the logical human being thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, because the storm started off as like a tropical storm, tropical depression. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
That's just a
They
slightly.
said early in the week it was going to be at least a Category 1 when it hit.
Yeah, it was like
At
but
least.
that's just a slightly more windy and wet, Corpus Christi day. I could have sat in my house, weathered that. Electricity goes up for a while, but as it got upgraded to Cat 2, Cat 3, it's like at that point, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just get on out of here.
Well, they said it would be a weak Category 3, right up until it was too late to
in
evacuate.
any category, 3 is too strong.
But did you actually look at the radar?
Karen in the chat room wants to know where Matt is. He is on standby. We're running super behind because we're not a fucking road show. So all of our shit was all like, and it's like just barely like right now, like, So we're on our way. We're there.
Do I need to tell you how stupid you were about this later?
We're gonna,
Yes.
after we talk to Matt, we're
But
gonna.
it was really stupid.
Okay, but I'm gonna talk about you. How long did it take you to get wherever you were going? Where did you go, Leslie?
We went to Brady. It was
Brady,
like
and where's that?
5. It's up there.
How long does it usually take you to get there?
It usually takes like 4.5. It took us it was over 5 hours because we didn't go through San Antonio.
Right.
Like
That's not bad though.
We knew that it was going to take a while. We wanted to go the back way where we didn't have to deal with
Right.
all the people.
Yeah,
So-
whenever I Google mapped my route to Tilden, they showed like 3 reported wrecks, and the whole highway was just red
went through
with traffic.
Tilden.
Yeah, I went through like Orange Grove and Freer to get to
Yeah,
Tilden. It was
that's
the
what we
whole
did.
thing. Yeah.
So I mean, I heard from people it took them 6 hours to get to San Antonio from here. And it usually takes about 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
we went way further. We went way further
I went out
away.
of the way. Yeah.
Yeah,
I added
that
like
was
an extra
smart.
30 minutes to my time. Yeah.
That's super.
Oh yeah, I mean, what was it? My ex-husband took the kids because he took my boys because he lost the natural disaster custody week coin toss. Better luck next time, sir. And he had them, so he went up to his mom's house in Kerrville. Never mind the dog barking in the background. And he went up to his mom's house in Kerrville, and he was like, his wife and my kids. He said, they left about 20 minutes ago. And it was about 5 hours later, I text her to see how everything was going. And she said, we're really close to San Antonio. Yeah. And I was like, fuck that. Also, not me.
Yeah, that wasn't a good way to go.
Oh no. And
Help
then
it.
like my boy's stepmom, like the morning they're packing, getting ready to leave, because once I heard it was a category like 2 and it was gonna hit Corpus, first thing I did was call my ex-husband since he had the boys, and first thing he said to me was, they're getting ready to go right now, because he knew that was my question. Like, I don't care whether or not he's fine. Like, what is the plan with my children, you know? So I called him. He answered the phone. He was like, they're getting ready to leave. They're fine. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I called my son, and he's like, oh, yeah, there's basically my stepmom. I don't want to say people's names on the air. Basically, my stepmom's having contractions. And I was like, excuse me? Because she's getting ready to pop. They're in the delivery room today, right? So he's like, yeah, she's having contractions. And I was like, put it on speakerphone. I was like, go get your brother. So they got real close to the phone. I was like, if you guys give any fucking shit
Get your boobs
to,
off the mic.
I didn't touch the mic with my boobs. I was like,
watching.
to your stepmom. I was like, this hurricane is going to be the least of your worries. I didn't touch it with my boobs. I didn't. Some of this might go.
This is the thing we're not spending Patreon money on. That's not good.
That's the opposite of good. That's everybody.
Nobody knows.
Is it bang
No,
time?
No, it's her.
It's me.
Sorry, everybody.
Sounds better now.
Hello?
Oh, no.
Cut
It's
out.
out again. God
Maybe-
damn it.
No, it wasn't me.
Okay, I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Okay,
All right.
let's keep the boobs clear.
Yeah, so basically I was like, do not give your stepmom any trouble, because like you're already a huge pain in the ass, and now she's packing and she's having contractions. I felt so horrible for her. I mean, not like horrible enough to go get them and take them out of town myself,
Is she
but
going to name
horrible.
her child Harvey?
I suggested that, and it turns out my ex-husband doesn't have a sense of humor that I'm aware of. He just said no.
Well,
You
his
like it?
loss, I guess.
You want to get Matt on the phone?
Oh, yeah, I sure do. You want to let Matt know we're about to call?
And while you're doing that, I just want to let everyone know that there are a ton of ways you can connect with us online, and Heather is busy working on all of them, so thank you, Heather. You can find us at Atheist Airwaves on Snapchat, Atheist Airwaves on Twitter, search for us on Facebook. Instagram should be coming soon because Heather is signing herself up for more work.
What? I wasn't paying attention. Okay, go. I don't know how to do the things. I'm a better director than a doer.
Oh shit. Why do I not hear anything?
I hear just a little bit.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How's everybody there?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so
We
much for
are.
joining us.
Is thou the volume and communication good?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
We hear you just fine. Chat room, can we hear Matt Dillahunty?
We're running a
Screw the chat room. They're
whole
fine.
bunch of tech difficulties in our hurricane bunker over here.
Well, I don't know why anybody would expect this stuff to work anyway.
Right?
It's a hurricane.
They didn't. Our chat room was like, "Well, you're kind of on time, even if there weren't a hurricane." So,
And the chat room says you sound good.
all right, excellent.
Amazing. Matt, I'd super like to thank you because I just want our listeners to know that I reached out to you like this afternoon just in effort for maybe some exposure for the cause and exposure for the organization efforts that Corpus Christi Atheists are putting forward. And it was like above and beyond that you offered to be on the show and talk about the fundraising that you've been doing. And it's huge. And thank you. I really appreciate it.
No problem. We did a podcast the other night, and as soon as you reached out, I was like, yes, let's share more stuff because, I live in Austin, and we got the northern edge of the storm, which meant that, it rained and some crap blew off my roof. But I also got to sit out in the hot tub in the middle of the hurricane too, so it really wasn't that bad. And yet when I looked at, footage of people down on the coast and the extra flooding that's happening now, in Houston,
Right.
how do you say no to, hey, let's see if we can get some folks to donate more money?
Man, Matt, do you know how to hurricane in style or what? Next hurricane, how many people does your hot tub fit exactly?
Well, see, that's the funny thing is that my folks used to live in San Antonio, and they are the kind of people who would never have bought a hot tub. But the house they bought had one. And so I would go down and visit them and use it. And I wanted one for years, but they're ridiculously expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And so on July 4th weekend or just before it, I happened to be online and I saw an advertisement for $320 for an inflatable hot tub. I think Coleman makes them and several other people do too. And I thought, for that money, I can throw it on the back porch. Now, I know there have been like 6 people in it at once, but I think it's designed for about 4. But if you ever wanted a hot tub and you don't care about having fancy jets, you just want the heat and the bubbles, these little cheap-ass inflatable hot tubs are awesome, and we've used it pretty much every day since we bought it.
And you can put it away.
Right? And if you underestimate the hurricane, now you have a raft. What?
That's right. Just dump the water out. I can float right down the street.
I kind of feel like the time there were 6 people in that hot tub, 3 of them were from Laredo, and we just talked about them just a moment ago.
That may be, because I was out of town.
Okay, I was going to ask you if you knew these people, but okay.
So we're welcome in your hot tub when you're out of town is kind of the gist of the story I'm getting here about the hot tub.
Yeah, I went. I was at another convention doing a talk, and Beth had a really fun and interesting weekend. So.
Oh, fun.
That sounds like a better story than the ones
I
we're
was-
going to
I was
tell
like-
about like damage
like-
and destruction and like people's lives being ruined.
Beth around? Can we
But we don't want to take up all of your time, and I know Christian has some stuff, so let's do that because your time is valuable and we appreciate it.
Right. And I do want to remind everyone in the chat room and listening that if you would like to donate to the relief efforts that Corpus Christi Atheists is currently putting on under the wonderful leadership of Nami Stone, you can get to that from bit.ly/CCA Harvey. Matt, you've talked a lot about the importance of communities for atheists in the past, and down here we're kind of living that importance now. Can you talk just a little bit about that? Because I'm sure you'd say it a lot more articulately than we will.
Well, I don't know if I'll take that back because there's a good chance that what you're talking about with the community in Corpus is probably in some ways better than the Austin community and other stuff, because what I find is the people who don't live in the Bible Belt, the people who don't live in areas that are permeated and overflowing with religious preferential treatment, don't really care that much about a secular community. I don't get involved. I've never spoken in Maine.
Right.
Matter of fact,
I
pretty much
totally get you. I
entire
came.
Northeast.
Go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I'm just saying pretty much the entire Northeast. New York's about as far northeast as I've been, to talk. And yet, the Houston community, I know that they have 3 different meetups just for one of the Houston secular communities. You folks down in Corpus have had me down there.
Right.
We see folks, I've talked before about, I don't care if it's Sunday Assembly, if it's Oasis, if it's Skeptics in the Pub, if it's just a local atheist group. We need to continue building communities for people who find their way out of religion, because, one question that came up that Dennis Loubet gave a great answer to on Nonprofits podcast was, hey, when you get rid of religion, what do you replace it with? And Dennis's his response was, when you cure cancer, what do you replace it with? Once the religion's gone, that's it, you're cured. The problem is that while that's true with regard to ideology, it's not true with regard to who we are as human beings. And there are some people who have a strong need and desire to get together and, build a community. Not everybody needs that. But I've been really harsh on a handful of people, including Tom Flynn from CFI, who he said that if you went to Sunday Assembly, you're not sufficiently secular. And I think that's pretty much a jackass move that he should resign over, because when you start saying that merely wanting to associate with other people, to engage who we are as human beings, as social creatures, is somehow wrong.
Yeah.
I think you've just, you've given up.
I can't agree more with you, because and we run into that here locally, where there are atheists who just object to socializing or organizing as a group because they view that as something that religious people do. And it's like, it doesn't have to do with religion. It has to do with, people need other people.
Yeah. Religion's co-opted all the things that make us human,
right,
and twisted them in subtle different ways, as if they were the ones who invented charity and community. And we need to take that stuff back. And, for 15 years now almost, I've been saying, take the good and leave the bad where you find it, including in religions. There are plenty of good things that occur, primarily not because of the religious doctrine, but because of the religions include people, and people are good and do good things.
Yeah, I know, for sure, one of the perks of being an atheist is I don't have to get up early on Sunday morning anymore. But there's still those times when you want to go and be around people who aren't going to constantly talk about, oh, I'll pray for you, and I'm going to do this with God. Right. And just people that are there just to do good things and just to be people without that kind of stigma hanging over them.
Yeah. And I recently moved, and all I did was reach out to our local atheist community and said, I need help getting my things from here to here. And I had people, and Reb was one of them, thank you, had people instantly. And church people have that wherever they go. And
yeah.
Yeah, well, that was kind of what we talked about. I didn't know if Christian was going to have to leave town with his kids. I left my kids with their dad because they were perfectly safe, and he makes more money than I do anyway. So enjoy that. Enjoy spending your money on that. And he was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I have friends, or I will hit up Facebook to see if there's any atheists in the area. And I felt perfectly comfortable doing that.
Yeah, the big thing, I think, is just to acknowledge that, we're all a little different, but we're all also very similar. And if something isn't for you, okay, cool, it's not for you. I remember a year ago, I bought my truck. And people think they know me because I'm pretty much an open book. You see me at conventions and on the TV show, and I'm not shy about talking about my life. And so, if you think you know me, you probably do. You pretty much know me, but you don't know my whole life. A lot of people didn't know that. Hell, I've been doing magic and performing magic since I was 3, and people didn't, know that. And now I'm touring with Randy and world champions and blah, blah, blah. I also have a wood shop in my garage, and now I own a home, so I'm doing it. So I had a good reason to have a truck, not just that I wanted one. And yet there were some of my more green, far left friends, particularly Europeans, when I posted the picture of the truck, they were like, oh, who needs a planet-killing truck that big, and what's your carbon footprint like? And I was, I started off by pointing out the fallacies that, hey, I've got another car that gets 35 miles to the gallon. It probably will have a bigger carbon footprint because it'll actually be driven more. But they kept going, and oh, nobody needs a truck, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you guys make me want to go down to Cabela's and buy a gun.
Did you ask them if they wanted your carbon footprint on their ass?
So what I did was I went down to Cabela's and I bought a gun. I bought a competition air rifle with a scope, and I figured that the people who were complaining wouldn't be able to tell the difference between that and like a sniper rifle. But I wish I would have thought about it, because I could have just said, I own a truck, so that when atheists in the Austin area need to move, I can help out.
No, there's been like multiple times where it's like, I wish I had something with like a flatbed that I could like haul stuff in, but you just have a small car, and so you have to scrounge around for somebody that has a truck. So especially in Texas, it's very useful to have a truck.
Everyone has a truck in Texas. Are you kidding me?
So
They hold their value really well. I mean, my car is worth like a tenth of what it was when I bought it, but my truck's still going to hold its value for quite a while.
There was something in particular that kind of came up for me during the storm, and I'm actually super excited that I don't have to like harass you personally about it like a creepo, but you're actually on the show and I have your attention, so this seems appropriate. During the storm, normally I just kind of brush off prayer. When someone's like, "Oh, I'll pray for you," I'm like, "Oh," and when someone's like, "Oh, God bless," that's pretty much my reaction is, "Okay, whatevs." They think they're doing something nice, and I'm not there to argue. I'm there to get my groceries at HEB. But what particularly bothered me was that Christian Ferris and I stayed during the storm, and
We're going to talk about how stupid that was later on.
Yeah, Leslie's going to tell us how stupid that was. But my personal
you were,
experience is we did everything we could. We put up, the storm shutters. We got like the food. We got like a lot of beer. We got candles. We like did all the things you're supposed to do for a storm. And then I just had to sit there and hope that we didn't get fucked up. And what bothered me was that all these other people who did the same thing, but then, subscribed to prayer, got like this little extra peace of mind that I wasn't getting. Like they were like, we did everything just like the atheists to be as safe as possible, and God, please keep us safe. And then they got to sleep and I got to stay up all night. And that bothered the shit out of me, because I was like, fuck your placebo effect. I don't get any peace of mind. And we took the same exact actions, and that started to get under my skin.
Although you're the one that's least likely to drown and die in the middle of the night while they're sleeping.
That's exactly why I wanted to talk to you about this. Thank you so much, Matt Dillahunty, everybody.
There you go. Problem solved. We talked about a bunch of stuff in the last couple of days about people, I'm praying for. I mean, there's people who have co-opted a lot of the messages here. There was one that was co-opted really well to show the ridiculousness of hashtag all lives matter as a response to Black Lives Matter. There were people who were talking about, showing pictures of empty vans saying, hey, your first truckload of prayers and wishes have arrived. And the atheist community at large, by and large, has been actually doing stuff. Hey, let's, okay, we're going to do a podcast and talk a little bit, but we're actually raising money. And, my friend Rebecca Vitzman's getting ready to head down there, working with the Foundation Beyond Belief and their disaster recovery division.
No better person to do that, too. I love that.
Oh, yeah. And they're actually using good sound science and research to figure out the best ways to be effective. Because sometimes just sending money is a bad idea, or sending food is a bad idea, or coming down to volunteer, you might just get in the way.
Right.
But I want to caution that there's also been some rather shitty atheists throughout this, including people who were saying, hey, let's deny Texas disaster recovery money because the Texas legislature voted to not provide disaster recovery money after Sandy. Right. Okay, well, the one guy had said, I'm an atheist, and I want them to know, that they did wrong. And I was like, I'm an atheist. I'm embarrassed by your comments. And as a humanist, it's fucking outlandish that you would even remotely advocate for punishing people based on what the legislature, who they might not even have supported. This is a matter of geography. They happen to live in a state. Somebody did something, and you're going to, let's just let them, rot away and lose their house and lose everything just so that I can make a ha-ha point on Facebook. You're a jackass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for real, though, thank you for taking that point against people like that.
And frequently as, pretty left people and atheists here in Corpus Christi, we are surrounded by people who support that legislature. We really, we vote every single time, and we don't have much of a voice. So, but we still live here. So, yeah. Don't don't kill the good people because you want, and don't kill the bad people either.
Yeah.
There's still
Hey,
people.
why don't you just show that you're better than them?
Exactly.
And you know what? Even though some of you voted against this, we're not going to let you guys die.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that is one of the things, Nami Stone, our president of Corpus Christi Atheists, I was talking to her. She said, well, I want to make sure that the atheists within our community, our, Corpus Christi Atheist group are good, and we'll expand past them. Of course, she's not necessarily doing it like, oh, take care of the atheists first, but these are our people. We see them every day. We watch each other's kids. Like, basically, she was like, let's make sure our friends and family are good, and then we're going to expand past that. We're not going to walk up to someone and they go, oh, God bless you, and we're like, give us our bread back, fuck you. I mean, we're not going to do that,
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's...
So, I mean, again, if you would like to donate, and again, the all of these funds are going to be turned into, we're having a big public service day on Saturday, and we're going to call Nami in a little bit, and she's going to tell us more about that. But it's all going to go into repair work. It's all going to go into food and water that people need in the local area, all the way up to Rockport, where the whole thing landed. We're going to start with our atheist community, and we've got a list of people who are in need. And if you are one of those people, our show email is still down, but I'm going to give you my personal email address. You email me, and Saturday we will send people to help you. Christian.ferris, Ferris, @gmail.com. And if you want to donate to help out with that, bit.ly.com/CCA Harvey.
And you can go to our Atheist Airwaves Facebook page. I have some live videos on there, and one of them has my no shit cell phone number. Don't text me dick pics, and if you need help, we got you.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us today, Matt. We really, really appreciate your help and support, and we'll be up to hang out in the hot tub soon.
I just realized that we're doing audio only, so you're thanking me, and I'm nodding along. Oh, yes, you're very, very welcome, without actually saying, no, I'm happy to do it. And, we need a lot more of this stuff. We need a lot more community building. Mm-hmm. There are people out there who have a view of the atheist community as if we are less moral, as if we're not charitable, mm-hmm. as if we are not social creatures who care about our fellow human beings, which is all fundamentally flawed. It's all lies that have been spread from the pulpit and from mm-hmm. anybody who would talk. And now we have opportunities. Let's take advantage of them. And the worst thing they can say is, you guys are only actually being charitable so people will think you're good.
Right.
Yeah, well, means to an end.
Shucks.
So
there are worse reasons to do good work. So
right?
When I leave the restaurant, because the portion size everywhere we go is far more than any of us should be eating, and I leave with a box of leftovers, and I give them to the homeless guy on the corner. Even if I was only doing it so that I could come on a show like this to tell everybody about how I did it, I still fucking fed a homeless person
Right.
and didn't feed a bunch of religious crap along with it. So I'm comfortable with it.
That's absolutely true. And, Reb said a perk to being an atheist is not having to get up on Sunday. Well, the downfall to being an atheist is actually having to do a fucking thing. And sometimes that's a huge pain in the ass. And sometimes you're out till 3:30 in the morning putting up storm boards.
Yep. Let's just do good stuff. Let's help the people in Houston who, it seems like Houston is suffering the worst of it right now.
Yeah.
And we'll see if we come out the other side with, I don't know, maybe some new friends, or at least people that you get along with, even though you might disagree on something else. Because the more people we reach out to let them know who we are, it changes all the misinformation that's been spread about us for years. So, good on you. Thanks for having me on, and keep raising money.
Matt, we can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Hey.
Corpus Christi Atheist meets every Sunday at 5:30 p.m., except for this weekend when we're supposed to be going to a Corpus Christi Hooks baseball game. I think that's probably still happening, maybe. It hasn't been canceled officially yet. We still have tickets left, and from what I hear, Nami Stone, president of Corpus Christi Atheist, is going to donate those to people who volunteer this Saturday. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. Before we get Nami on the phone, I want to go to another story that we have from our local community, and this one was from Brittany, and more specifically about the devastation that happened in Rockport, which is just a little ways north of where we are, and where the eye actually hit, made landfall, and they got a dead-on hit. I was sad to see this morning that Rockport Aquarium was just literally, the wreckage of it, it looks like someone reached down with their hand and just crumpled up into a big wad.
Like God.
Yeah, God did that.
That entire area looks like that. Every one of those businesses look like that.
Not usually, but now.
Yeah.
Like, I was joking the other day when I was going through Corpus that I really couldn't tell what was hurricane damage and what was,
Friday.
Right. What was like that before
You
the
made
hurricane hit.
a Johnson to Rockport, right, Leslie?
Yep.
How'd that go? It was
Awful.
Oh, really? It was like
No, that was a terrifying trip.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me read what Brittany wrote into the show, and then we'll let Leslie talk about what she experienced. So Brittany wrote, "My husband and I live here in Corpus, but my parents live in Rockport, and I spent most of my adolescence there. Sunday, my husband and I went to check on my parents' house and a few friends' parents' homes as well. Getting to the outside of town was a brief glimpse into the destruction. An RV park on the southbound highway was devastated. Trailers either in piles or blown and rolled into smaller crushed versions." That's what I'm talking about with the hand thing with the aquarium. "Tons of trees ripped up from the ground, laying everywhere. Power lines either on the ground or leaning to the point you had to worry they could fall at any time. We made it to the edge of town where my parents live, and down their street was destruction. Some flooding, houses torn open, and just debris and trees everywhere. When we got to the long driveway of my parents' home, we couldn't pass. Standing water, debris, a fallen fence as multiple fallen trees blocked the path. So we waded through the calf-high water and climbed over the trees and fencing to my parents' home. Miraculously, the house survived. No trees fell on it. Lots of missing shingles, but still there. Some of their little storage sheds were destroyed and among the debris. I found some long-forgotten childhood items. Tons of their plants were ripped up and the pots were broken and thrown all over the backyard. The RV park behind them, amazingly, only had one truly destroyed RV. A tree had fallen on another's truck, but that saved their home, a small RV, so they were super grateful." And that was the only home they had was that RV. "I was able to see my hometown. We checked on other homes, and they were all somehow intact, even one that was 50 feet from the water. Tons of debris, but standing. We saw one of the apartment complexes torn open and could hear the smoke detectors that were still there ringing. It was haunting. We sent the good news and pictures to my parents and friends' parents, who were so happy to see their homes made it. It felt good to be able to give them peace of mind. My parents opted to come home the next day and get to work. My husband and I met my dad out there at the house at 9 a.m. on Monday and got to work. It took 3 of us 5 straight hours of work, a tracker and chainsaw to clear the driveway. We did about 8 hours of just clearing trees. The smile on my dad's face, who was raised to be a cowboy and works harder than any 60-year-old you could know, when we got that huge section done was so awesome. There's still a few more fallen trees that need to be cut up and cleared, lots of yard cleaning to do. But I bet by the time I visit again in a couple of days, my dad will have gotten most of it done. We'll be heading back in maybe Thursday to drop off tap water for washing and some food." And she adds that looters are constantly a fear for her and her family. There was a guy here in Corpus who got shot in the head trying to enter a home as the hurricane was making landfall. What was your experience, Leslie? I mean, how did Rockport look? I'm surprised you got in, frankly.
Yeah, it's a disaster. It's so weird to be there and see, like she was saying, there are places that look just totally fine, and then the place right next to it's flat.
Yeah.
And when I went there, the reason I went there when I did was because it looked like there was going to be more rain coming down, which would have been more flooding. So it was coming back over Houston and coming back down towards Rockport. And so what I did was I tried to go and get one of my friends before they got stuck, basically. And while I was driving there, I noticed on the other side of 35 it was already flooded. So I stopped and I watched people going across this flooded area. Like, do I need
That
to
was your
turn
way
around?
back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was already too far, but I still would have done something to get back on the road I was at. But I watched people for a while go across, and then I just went, because it was rainy and misty. But there's power lines down everywhere. You have to be careful where you drive. They do have a lot of areas where they'll put a cone next to where a power line's about to fall.
Right.
So you don't go there.
I've seen so much footage of people like driving under those things, which they're almost on the ground and they'll still drive under it. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I saw stupid things, but there was also just like the cables just hanging down raw with the wires everywhere. So I have no idea what it's going to take to repair most of that. But it was just a terrifying situation to see, and there weren't that many people there. Everyone was official that I saw.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that because, like, I can't handle my kids on, like, Wednesday at Walmart after 5:30. Like, if my no shit house caved in, I would just be like, fuck it. Everyone for themselves. Like, I wouldn't know what to do. I couldn't imagine being in that situation.
I can't imagine, like, not only like your home's gone, but also probably like where you worked at is also probably gone. So it's like
I haven't heard anything from where I worked at.
Yeah, it's like you
Nothing.
don't have any income anymore. You don't have a home anymore. Like, I guess you just leave. I mean, like, how do you rebuild a town?
Right, but
from
where do you
nothing?
leave to if you don't have any? Because I don't necessarily have anywhere to leave to.
I know that's what would be terrifying. Like,
Right.
had that hit Corpus just straight up, and where do you go? What do you do?
Yeah,
You've
I mean,
got
that's what I
nothing.
had to tell
Yeah.
Christian. I was like, I don't know, I'll reach out on Facebook to some atheists, like, hey, who wants to put an Atheist Airwaves host up at their house and hope that they've, like, I've heard that show before, and not be like, so fuck no.
Michael Carson in the chat room asks, so what will the money of this organization provide to the Harvey victims? I think that's a great time to get Nami on the phone if we can.
Yes, we can.
All right. So
Oh, it's like that guy was paid to
right,
give us
he's a
segue
shell. He's a
into-
shell. Like, yeah, we pay that guy in booze.
What do I do? Do I put it on speaker? Do I just leave it?
Just leave it.
We're just gonna leave it.
Hello.
Nami,
Mommy!
Hi.
how are you doing?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me? Is it good?
Yep, we're good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. And thank you, Matt, for being on the show.
Yeah.
I just wanted to start off and say I'm so proud of you guys. And thank you to every one of you who have been working during this time. Like you guys pointed out before, a lot of you guys were helping before the storm hit, out until 3 or 4 in the morning, boarding up windows or offering rides out of town. Once Harvey hit and we knew how bad everything was, we started accounting for members, checking on properties for people who weren't in town, setting up supply drives, starting a fundraiser. And that kind of brought us to our next decision was to have a day of service. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Can I ask you a question first, though?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Awesome. So, the last time you were on the show, you were here as a host, and you were at that time just thinking about whether you were going to be willing to accept the mantle of president of Corpus Christi Atheists. And this is the first time we've had you on since you finally became president of Corpus Christi Atheists. So,
sir.
the question I have for you, you're still out of town because your house still doesn't have power, right?
It just came on late this afternoon,
Oh, nice.
but yes, I'm still out of town.
Yeah, I saw the picture. I think we post that to Snapchat.
Yeah, we posted it to Snapchat.
So go look at that. Go look at that picture. Anyway, it sounds like you've really been roughing it out there.
I'm like goat herding, man.
To earn her keep.
You
Yes.
literally look like Snow White in this picture. Like you've got bluebirds on your shoulder, and I don't know. Here's my
Everyone
question.
go
Though.
check it out. Yes.
Here's my question, though. How do you feel about President Trump making it to Corpus Christi before the president of CCA? I mean, are you embarrassed about that? Do you have anything to say about that?
Not particularly. I heard he just kind of showed up and left, right? He went to a fire department in an area that wasn't particularly affected, and then he went into Austin, right?
Yeah, and it was just like a campaign stop, really. Like, it didn't even like talk all that much about.
I didn't see it. I was trying to watch the video, and it took him so long to get there. I bailed, so I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I thought they didn't allow things in to record or anything. I thought they
I think I can do a better job when I get back to Corpus. I hope so. I mean, you guys will call me out on it if not, but I think I can show him up.
Nami, you better be spray tanned as fuck, okay?
We need you orange and in town. No,
Right?
I
want you like
that we're raising my spray tan and my hairdo.
I want you like reflective orange. Okay.
I also do want to say, like, just completely seriously, I'm kidding about the Trump thing, obviously, but you've been doing an amazing job of organizing our response to that, and we've been talking about it all day here as we've been trying to make all of this stuff work. So thank you, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who are working with you that are making all of this
absolutely.
happen.
You guys, thank you all for getting the show organized and set up and reaching out to a community that I don't have access to yet. I don't know them all yet, so I appreciate you guys because you guys have so many fans, so we are indebted to you.
I appreciate you using the word organized when you are describing what we did with this show. Nami, if I weren't an atheist, I'd call you a saint.
Pablo Picasso in the chat room says Nami ran out of Secret Service monies. That's probably true because all the trips she takes as president, it's really wearing on the coffers.
Right, you pulled a Bush during Katrina, is what you just did.
Damn it.
How is Camp David?
After we're done talking to you about what's going on this weekend, they're going to yell at us about for not doing what you did. So don't feel bad about being gone.
So what exactly, tell us, Nami, what our CCA funds are going to be allocated to?
Okay. So we have several members, families who have had significant damage to their homes. Like I said, or you guys talked about earlier, we don't have a church to go to, to ask for help, or, we don't have that great fund of money that churches have. And so I really want to make sure that our members and their loved ones are cared for during this time. So we want to help them with their house. We want to help pull debris, make repairs as we can, kind of whatever is needed on that front. So some of our funds will go towards, paying for materials that we need, equipment that we need, getting to those places, getting supplies to them. And then, and if these people are having to live out of hotels and out of town and drive back and forth a lot. So if we can help them financially, that's going to be a priority for us too. So that's a big part of it. We also, Corpus Christi has a park adopted through the city of Corpus Christi. We're going to head out there on Saturday and work on that. So that's going to take some manpower or woman power, some supplies to get that done. We're going to supply distribution sites to hand out items to those in need. So we're going to stock up on water, food, formula, clothing. There's a great big list of things that they need. So we're going to stock up on those kinds of items. So there's so many different aspects and areas where we can help, and we're going to hit on as many as we can, to help as many people as we can, not just our members, but, the community at large.
And I know we were talking in the CCA board Facebook message that because there is money involved and we aren't a nonprofit, that we want to be very transparent with our funds. And absolutely. I mean, we were talking about motherfucker. We were talking about like keeping receipts and etc. So it's not like what'd you do for a hurricane? Oh, Heather got her nails did. Okay, God.
Her spray tan.
Right. Now we got her spray tan.
No, exactly. We everything that we receive in will be publicly posted. Every fund that goes out. Go ahead.
If you don't mind, if we can get copies of all of that stuff so that we can post that to the Atheist Airwaves Facebook page.
Absolutely.
And we'll do that as well. So if you donate to us, we will show you exactly what your donations bought to the penny. And
we buy our drugs and alcohol with our own money. And free!
Speaking of which,
exactly, we have an ongoing ledger, just with everything, and that will be posted on our Facebook, the Atheist Airwaves page, our Meetup page. I mean, that's going to be available everywhere.
Great.
So, absolutely.
Sorry, go on. I'm just going to hijack the show.
I wanted to just list some of the names of the people who donated during our show, just to give them credit so far. Starting with Jeff Preberg, who donated $25. And then he later again donated $5 to get to that $30. So we owe him a coloring book page. If you donate $30 to this fund, we are going to color a thing. We're going to color a big fuck for you.
Yeah, pick your host, and we'll color a fuck for you.
Right. We'll give you one of our fucks, and we don't have many.
No.
So, yeah. Hector, there was an anonymous contribution. We had Deb Bienen from Fact donated. Gavin Upton from the chat hole. Brittany Maxey, Anthony Magnabosco, Karen Jungworth, or however you say your last name, I apologize. So thank you all for donating recently, and so please, if you can't donate, if you could just share this on your Facebook page or with your friends, maybe someone else can help us out and help some people down here. We do have a member who completely lost their house. It's gone. Mm-hmm. So there are...
And it was in Rockport.
Right.
Which was one of the worst areas to get, if not the worst area to get hit down here.
It was that or Port Aransas. They both got it pretty bad.
Right. Well, Port Aransas is
in
on the
Rockport, it was
island.
they said 161 miles per hour.
The wind?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Angela in the chat room says, y'all need to lower the cost of the coloring page to $10. I would, but then my hand would fall off coloring pages. So that's why we're like, I don't know how much coloring I can do. So $30.
I think Angela just volunteered to color.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
anyone who does $10, that will be Angela.
All right, well, $50, and if you're interested, I'll text you a picture of my boobs.
Oh, hold on. What's the website? It's bit.ly at...
Web, just give me $50.
Michael Carson in the chat room is saying this is the first time he's ever heard of our show. Is this organization just in Corpus, or is Atheist Airwaves nationwide? We're based in Corpus. We broadcast nationwide.
I mean, it's the internet, so I mean, it's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Well, CCA, Corpus Christi Atheist,
Right.
is...
Corpus Christi based, and
Right.
we're
Atheist
helping.
Airwaves is people from Corpus Christi Atheist.
Right.
Yeah.
We
do all the things.
Anything else you need to make people aware of, Nami, before we let you go?
Well, I wanted to say for the meetup this Saturday, we've invited groups from San Antonio, Austin, other area atheists. If you guys want to come down and lend a hand this Saturday, and you need a place to stay, let us know. Send us a message, and we will get accommodations for you at someone's house. We might need to bring a sleeping bag or a cot or something, but we need help.
Earlier on in the show, I gave out my personal email address. I'll do it again.
Perfect.
If you can't figure out how to get in touch with us, you can email me directly, and I will make sure you get in touch. Christian.ferris, Ferris, @gmail.com, and I will make sure you get all of the details. You can also go to ccatheists.com for all the details on the Saturday event.
Apparently, for a $50 donation, Petey will text you a picture of her boobs too. Way to get on board,
Well,
Petey.
not two. You only get one or the other. You don't get both. Just
Oh,
one.
no, you don't get both.
Do you have to specify which ones you want?
Would they be able to tell if our face wasn't in it?
50 per pair, I would assume, right?
No, 50 per boob.
Oh, per
No.
Oh, okay.
50 per pair, Petey. Are we on board? Right? $50 donation?
Right.
Dude, I've done it for less. But for real dough.
All right, so now we've got a second tier reward.
Second tier reward, $50 and up. You get me or Petey's boobs. She still has both. Good news. You're going to get your money's worth.
Oh, cancer's sad.
Petey makes it funny, though. But there's one with a scar, so you'll be able to know whether it's me or her.
That's true.
So,
That's true. You will know.
yeah. Hers looks like a pirate.
Praise in the chat room says Anthony Magnabosco donated $50. Just saying.
But there's like a grandfather clause about how I have to see that dude sometimes.
Oh, I thought the grandfather clause had something to do with Ferris, but okay, all right.
If you were even in the chat room, you'd be banned right now. Is your mic working?
Maybe.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Kind of.
I'm going to do like this just in case.
Okay.
What else did you have, Nami?
I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for throwing this together and hosting it. Seriously, thank you guys, and I will see you Saturday, if not before, okay?
You'll see one of us. One of us has to watch the kids. But,
Pablo Picasso in the chat room wants to donate $50 and get one of my boobs and one of Petey's boobs.
Pablo Picasso in the chat room wants to donate $50 and get one of PD's boobs and one of Heather's boobs. Can we do that? And like, you just have to like, do you want the scar boob or the?
Are we photoshopping them together?
Oh, that'd be great. And then like someone totally on me.
Oh, dude.
If we do that, that'd be great.
I volunteered
Dude, now I'm
to
gonna
do
have
the photoshopping for this.
That sounds like extra work. I think we need like an extra 25 or 50.
if you
Right,
want
okay.
the Ferris Photoshop, and no one wants that. But if you do,
Dude, you're lucky I'm giving you boob for $50 and you ain't get some side boob. Shit.
thank you so much, Nami. We will
We'll
see you
talk
this
to you guys
weekend.
later.
See you
Thank
soon,
you.
Nami. Miss you. Be careful
Bye.
driving home. Love you.
Yes, ma'am. Bye. Love you.
I have to pee. It's that time.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I've got some things to say, so that's fine. Oh, actually, maybe we should just move on.
Move on.
So, I mean, let me just say it again. bit.ly/CCA Harvey. $30 will get you a fuck coloring page and a brief thank you note from the hosts of this show. $50 will apparently get you the boobs of your choice. So, I mean, I'm not going to...
Yeah, you people that get anonymous donations, you're missing out now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to message us. You've got my email address, so like, if you you gotta tell us what you want, and we'll be good. We'll make it good.
I'm pretty sure this isn't prostitution.
No, you could do like the internet's
They're
full
just
of porn.
boobs. They're just boobs.
Oh, okay. Oh, you
Free
don't have
the
to sign
nipple.
like a release form
Free
first?
the nipple.
That's true.
Oh, Angela wants to know if any of your body parts are on the table, Rep.
I mean, if you're into hairy titties, I mean, that could be a thing. But my
Are
price
you willing
is,
to do that?
my price is considerably higher, though, because
You gotta pay for quality.
I'm very high class. Very high class.
And that's a lot of hair. I mean, I can just see the
Yeah,
chest.
just from the
thing.
top, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's like kind of teasing us with the
little
chest
bit.
hair. So what's your number? If someone wants to pay, to say
Well, I mean,
boobs?
if it's a 50 for Heather, it's got to be 100 for me.
All right, $100.
I
and-
value my body.
So again, christian.ferris@gmail.com, and wow, I'm glad she was in the bathroom when you said that. But, Pablo Picasso says he wants a ball for $50.
No,
I'll do that.
you get hairy
No
nipples
problem.
and hairy titties.
No,
That's what you
I'll-
get.
Balls for $50. I'll do that. So you just gotta email me and tell me who you are, what you donated, and what you want, and I'll just confirm.
Oh, I
that
just
all
got
that
the
happens.
death stare from
Like you
Heather.
can't just.
I'll donate $100 for Reb not to send me a picture of himself.
Braves in the chat room wants to know if you're gonna shower beforehand, Reb.
Yeah, of course. That's the right thing to do. For $100, I mean, you deserve it.
Not if you're in the sweaty Reb. No, I was gagging about a thing that happened earlier.
So let's talk. Let's let them yell at us. I mean, we've gone like a lot longer than I thought we were going to go already. So
You mean you're more long-winded than you thought you were?
we've talked.
That's
a lot
so
of-
weird for me and Leslie. We never saw this coming. Leslie's laughing about a thing that happened earlier.
So when we knew the storm was coming. Like we started doing stuff around.
Vance says waxing party for Reb if you donate $200.
Oh, would you do that?
No.
Dude, Reb, just your back,
$200.
just your back.
My
your
chest
back.
hair and my back have been unshorn since.
It's
Never has a razor met
It's
this
the, it's
No,
the
we're
source
talking
of his power.
Wax.
razor.
Not a
met.
One
razor,
strip.
None of it.
One strip for $200. You have a hairy chest.
I'll do it. I will let you wax my chest if someone
Dude,
donates $200.
$200. $200.
video.
I will Facebook Live waxing Ferris's chest. I will Facebook Live that shit. I will even spell dirty words with the wax before I do it.
Preeb says he'll do it if someone donates $200. He'll do a video of his back getting waxed. I don't have back hair, otherwise I'd do that. But
Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't be dating.
sorry, Reb.
We're not dating.
I feel like that's why.
Oh, no.
That's obviously the only reason that keeps us apart.
Okay,
for sure.
so Heather and I, people were evacuating. My family was really mad at me. They kept like calling me, having extended family call me.
I had
So we
to text
spent-
my mom and say, I'm okay. Thanks for asking.
I rarely agree with them.
We spent Thursday night out until 3:30 a.m. boarding up homes, including our own.
That should have been
mostly
done
other people.
Wednesday.
And I was also this
They
is a
didn't
person,
tell us
they didn't tell us
until-
until
What do you mean they
like,
didn't tell us until Wednesday?
No, like the people who needed help
Oh, no,
out
no,
in
no.
the
I'm not
community.
talking about them. I'm talking about y'all who did it right before you went and helped them.
Yeah. Well, whatever. But anyway,
Well, whatever.
anyway, we went out. We were doing that. I got attacked by wasps.
I'm what's known as a procrastinator.
I sprained my ankle. It was awful. Then we were back up at 9 a.m. doing it again.
I don't
You tell him, Heather. You tell him. I'm gonna get rid of our backlighting.
He was super brave. He was such a big boy. I was so proud. Even when he fell down and he got a boo-boo, he got back up. And no, actually, he was a super big boy about it because it came down to it, and I saw a wasp, and I looked at this lady, and I'm like, look, I'm sorry your husband needs a cane. We'll be back in the morning if the hurricane hasn't hit. Good luck, fuckers. Like, I wasn't getting stung by wasps. We put up all of them except for that window and promised to come back in the morning, which we did.
And we set up Hurricane Central in my daughter's room, and we had all the animals in there and provisions, and we wrote it out. It was a little scary at sometimes. I mean, like the sounds the house was making, a little scary.
Yeah, every time the house creaked, I was like, there goes. Okay, now to be fair though, I live in I bought a new house. It's super new. Like it's got double pane windows and it's got all a brand new roof.
Any corners.
But we're 20 feet over sea level, so...
Right, we're not anywhere near the water. Plus, like I said, I have strategically placed myself in a white neighborhood surrounded what can only be statistically by Christians. And God is going to have to knock out a lot of those motherfuckers in order to get to me.
So go ahead and tell us how stupid we are. Oh, fuck.
Go, Leslie. Go, Rev. Have at it.
Okay, so this thing was building. It went over. Where did it go over? Like the
Category
tip
4.
of,
Went to Cat 4, yeah.
No. I mean, before this got into the Gulf, it broke up. It was going over land. They knew that it was going to strengthen once it got into the Gulf.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. They always strengthen.
They knew that it was going to make landfall somewhere between the
Corpus.
somewhere along the Texas coast.
Yep.
It was somewhere, right? They knew it was going to build. They knew that there were these two pressures that were going to make it do weird things. They didn't know exactly what.
It was going to push it from keeping it going up into Middle America.
It was going to make it stall, and it was going to make it build. They knew that it was going to be at least a Category 1.
Mm-hmm. But a Category 1, I would have rode that out.
No. Listen, they knew it was going to be a Category 1, at least a Category 1.
Right.
At least a Category 1. And
decided-
something they said that was going to sit out in the Gulf and build. They said it was going to sit out in the Gulf and build.
Right. When we decided to stay, they were forecasting a Category 3. And it was supposed to go north of Corpus Christi.
But why did you wait until it was a Category 3 to get the fuck out?
We didn't get the fuck
didn't
out.
get the
We
fuck
waited
out. We
longer
stayed
than
there.
that.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. We were like, and I got to tell you, as the storm built and when as it got stronger, the track was slowly moving south towards Corpus Christi.
Right.
Like it was supposed to be way farther
So
towards
you
Houston.
were betting on. Have you watched the weather? Do you know how often
Oh,
it's
no, I know.
wrong? What the fuck is
Of
wrong
course
with
he's
you?
watched the weather. He's old. That's what old guys do is just sit there and watch the weather
He
channel.
has his
on a
Farmer's
loop.
Almanac he goes through.
Farmer's Almanac. He can just recite the date it happened. He'd be like, back in 1942 when the Dust Bowl did thing in the snow.
On Wednesday, I wanted to start boarding the house, and Josh almost rolled his eyes at me. I'm like, "What the? It's
How is he still alive?
Love that text. She texted me. She was like, yeah, yesterday I want to board the house. Josh is rolling his eyes at me. Today he's all panicked, Josh.
no, emergency, Josh."
Emergency, Josh.
But yeah, all this stuff could have been done earlier, and I'd already done some preparations earlier. But because. I've sat through hurricanes before. I've sat through a Category 1. Fuck off. I've sat through a Category 1, but I went over us. I dealt with the eye wall on both
fuck.
sides.
Fuck.
Okay? I've been through it.
That
Y'all
sounds
were
scary as
really
fuck.
fucking stupid for staying.
I don't doubt it.
This could have been Rockport. Your house could have been hit with 100-something mile an hour wind.
And no, it's true. And I gotta tell you,
Easily. That was 30 miles away. 30 miles. Y'all should have been getting ready to get the fuck out on Wednesday. So should everyone else, including you, Pablo Picasso. That was some fucking bullshit.
Dude, that
you
was
pulled.
bullshit. Like when I have to invite you from the bluff, which is 12 minutes away from my house, to be like, do you want to be on higher ground? And you're like, no, I'm in the bluff. I'm all exactly. People are literally texting me like, oh, what does the bluff look like? And I'm like, well, if you look at this house, it's fine. If you look at the house next door to you, you're like, where the fuck did the bluff go?
Okay,
Yeah, I gotta say, like, you're
Let's go
real
with-
fucking stupid if you stayed in the bluff.
Let's yell at Pablo Picasso
Right, right.
for a while.
Wait. Y'all were still stupid.
No,
So
no,
what about Jacob?
So people saying he was totally stupid.
Stupider.
But we don't
People
expect
saying
much
that they
from
weren't going to leave. People saying they weren't going to leave because of whatever the driving conditions, the amount of people.
That's not why we
Okay,
stayed.
now listen how fucking stupid that was. We should have all been getting out of here on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Fine, don't leave during the day when people are getting off of
Right.
work or whatever. Wait until nighttime or before the sun rises and get the fuck out. So it's an easy, stress-free ride, and you're not dealing with every other asshole that thinks that they can wait until the last minute to get out.
Yeah, Cat 1 I would have sat through, but yeah, as soon as they upgraded
I
to
might have
Cat
sat
3,
through a Cat 1.
yeah, Cat 3,
But
as soon as they projected, like for sure Cat 3, I was like, burn up the windows, getting out of here.
Now that everything is good and the most damage caused to my house by Hurricane
Okay.
Christian.
Okay, we're
Can
not
I
going to talk about that now.
No, we're not going to talk
We're
about
talking about it
it.
in post-show.
We'll talk about
I'm
it in
not done
post-show.
yelling.
Okay, but while you're taking a deep breath, can I just say, now that everything's fine, fucking hurricane sex.
Oh, fuck yeah. That shit is hot as fuck.
Dude,
Literally hot because
Also-
there's no air conditioning.
but-
You stupid
Well,
fuckers.
that's true, too.
Yeah,
Also, hurricane
it-
sandwiches, fucking awesome.
It's like
Also-
a regular sandwich. You just eat it during a hurricane.
Also, hurricane tacos, fucking awesome. Oh, it's the best thing about being in a hurricane is the sex, the sandwiches, and the tacos.
I did all of those.
or you could just
so
go
you
to a
know.
hotel room somewhere
But
and have
But
all
then
of
it's
those
just
things
hotel room
delivered to
sex.
you.
Boring.
Right?
I gotta tell you,
Next time, hotel room hurricane
oh,
sex.
fuck yes. Okay. We're gonna go down to the Motel 6 down here in the Bluff.
I don't
Okay.
stay at Motel 6s. That's adorable, though.
When we had met Dillahunty down here, that's where Jesse put him up. Is Motel 6, and they were like rats and.
That
not
is why
rats, like
nobody
cockroaches.
comes back to Corpus
That was
Christi.
me!
That is why you put me in charge of the lodging, because all of you fuckers are like, oh, value rapist. Value rapist in? Yeah, absolutely.
Vance in the chat room says, "Well, my 10-year-old just had to leave." So
Vance, you have literally been on this show before, and you thought everything's
oh
gonna
yeah,
be
we're
okay.
gonna
It's
have,
gonna
I'm
be
gonna have my
fine.
10-year-old in the room.
Right.
That'll work.
Would you think we were going to be over here like hands across America? We're fucking Atheist Airwaves. We raise money with boobs and
Right. Speaking of which,
Shit.
We're at $904, and so it would be really awesome if we could get through post show and have $1,000 raised. And that's really just like 2 boob pics. I mean, so
Yeah.
if you wanted like a
Well, it's one red boob pick. It's 2.
right, or one or
we can get to $200 and I will, if somebody donates $200, I will wax your name into Ferris's chest and rip it off. No shit. Facebook Live.
also if you could like patreon.com/Atheist Airwaves.
I hope Alan does
after the
it
next
and he
two-
wants me to do his last name.
like Firkenhoff. I know.
Yes, all
Fuck
of the
that,
letters
fuck that.
except for like Z and Q.
Oh God. Angela in the chat room says, or you could just be good without God or boobies.
Yeah, that would be.
That would be one way
Why
of
would
doing
somebody
it.
do that?
I know, like you need one or the other, right?
Can't you just,
Right.
can't you be good with boobies?
Yeah, I mean, like, when you don't have God, what's left? Boobies.
All right. So, just to cap off the yelling.
Wait, I'm not
I
done
knew.
yet.
I knew. I knew
I'm not
that.
done yet.
I knew there was
She's
a.
not
I'm not
done.
done yet.
That was,
not done.
that was just a breath she
I
was
knew-
taking.
Yeah, I asked her to take a long breath. Just
There's a second
hold
part.
on
All right, go ahead.
while you take a deep breath.
It is super unfair for you to do that to people who care about you.
That is
It
true.
is really fucking unfair. Yes, people smart enough to get the fuck out early are sitting there waiting, looking to see if everyone they care about is okay, when they could have just got the fuck out and let
Yeah.
the stress to the people that care about them.
Yeah,
and you
that's
know,
true.
you're sitting there thinking, oh, should I just dump these people so I don't have to go through this shit again? Like,
No.
seriously. Like, seriously, why would you put yourself through people who will just put you through shit
Yeah.
and make you worry about them when you don't have to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't
Did you
disagree.
guys have options for leaving, or,
No
or did you?
fucking shit.
Yeah, we
They
talked.
had
We talked about it.
options.
We talked about it all day. Like we had a drop dead date. Like this is when it's gonna be too late to leave. And I gotta tell you, like we went back and forth, and especially as it got farther south and farther south, and ultimately it was like how many miles away was it? Like
30 miles.
30 miles away. Yeah, and
It was supposed to be here.
Dude, I gotta tell you, when the hurricane made its closest pass to us, which was like right off the fucking island, on its way north, like I gotta tell you, when that happened, I was like, well, that might have been a dumb
Well,
decision.
you listen to interviews with some of the people that stayed in Rockport, and they tell you if they could go back, they would have never stayed.
That's what I've heard
Whether it
from all of
would
them.
have hit them or not, no matter how close it
Yeah.
would have got, they would have left.
Yeah.
And it was the worst mistake of their
And
entire
I
life.
I gotta say, I wouldn't do it again. But this is the thought process I had among many, was that I kind of wanted to have that experience, and I was like, if I die, then I'm gonna just be dead, and it doesn't matter anyway. And I just wanted that experience.
It wouldn't matter
I
to
wouldn't do it
me,
next
though.
time. Next time I wouldn't do it, but I kind of
Yeah,
wanted.
but
Have you
that
heard their
would've been a you
stories
problem.
about the eye wall?
Oh yeah,
'Cause it
And
was
like,
during the
no.
night.
Dude, my family was like having people call me who had been through these things before to try and convince me that I should go.
Well, especially-
I'm like, it was not going to go.
Well, especially with the eye wall, because it was such a big eye wall. So the hurricane rolls through, and if you're inside the eye wall, you go outside, it seems clear, everything's fine. And then
And you get a whole
instantly,
new one.
the other side of the wall hits.
And the other side was worse.
Yeah.
The other side did the most damage in Rockport.
Right, exactly. It's always the northern and western side, or the eastern side, that do the most damage,
Yeah.
they're the most impactful.
Well, good job. Y'all went through it once. Don't
It was
fucking
fine.
do it
We're
again.
not going to do it again. We won't do it again. We already talked about it. If it happens again, we're not doing it.
We can go party in Fredericksburg.
I'm
with
glad we
Mommy.
did it because we got hurricane sandwiches, hurricane tacos, and hurricane sex. That was like totally.
Why?
fine.
Okay, I
Totally
hope
fucking
that's
worth it.
not in order of priority.
No. It was in ascending order of awesomeness.
What about like hurricane masturbation? Did
Oh, yeah, who was asking that? I don't remember, but
I think that was Iron Man. I think so. Yeah.
Adrian in the chat room is asking people to send the link, so I'll just say it again. It is bit.ly/CCA Harvey. $50 you get boobs of your choice. $100 you get
Reb's
Reb's
boobs.
boobs.
$200 and you get your name waxed into
In my
Ferris's
chest.
Yeah,
Please.
$200 and I'll wax your name into his chest.
Brittany in the chat room wanted to use her maiden name, which is Valenzuela.
Girl, get on that shit. I don't care whose name it is. It could be John Paul George or Ringo.
Can we post links with that account?
Oh yeah, Angela's been posting links.
No,
Angela,
I know, but like,
Oh.
can we post links that are actually links and not where they have to be spaced out?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go do it.
Okay, cool. While she's doing that, we have a couple of other quick stories from our community that I want to get to before we get to post-show. The first one that I wanted to talk about was a local member of our atheist community, and he didn't send this in. Someone else routed him out. But Ben actually ran into a homeless person as the storm was approaching and just took him into his house. No prayers, no heavenly reward, just took a total stranger who had no place to go and brought him into his house, kind of like we did with all of the animals in this house. If you've heard dogs barking and cats meowing, we have every goddamn rescued animal.
this is
in
how the
house.
motherfucking arc happened. Okay, some Save-A-Ho softy that's a sucker for a hard case. Like, it started fucking raining, and they were like, oh, you're walking by, get in the house, you're walking by, get in the house, you're walking by, get in the house, and now we have 5 cats, 4 kids, 2 dogs, and a Reb.
Whose boobs you can see for $100.
Why are Reb's boobs worth more than my boobs?
I don't want to talk about that.
You'll
Also,
give me a death stare if I tell you.
Wait, what?
no, it doesn't matter.
No, it does matter. I was in
our-
the bathroom when it happened.
Yes, our own PD
Leslie?
Alfaro also had a story she wanted to pass on.
I wish she was here to tell it, though.
She
She'd be
stayed,
so adorable telling this.
she stayed in her home in Kingsville, which is well out of the way, but like still,
That was my Hurricane Cat 1 escape plan. I was like, oh, I'll just go
yeah.
to
And
Kingsville.
she took in a lot of people who were evacuating Corpus Christi, so they apparently had a good time down there.
Yeah, apparently Jeff, who's a host on this show frequently too, in the
Right.
4th chair, was like, what happens in Kingsville stays in Kingsville. I'm like, not to herpes, though.
So
Are you
because
saying Petey has herpes? What are you saying?
I'm just saying herpes doesn't stay in Kingsville. Huh?
Because she's
I don't
on,
be fucking around in Kingsville.
she's on chemo right now. She's got breast cancer. She can't drink, so instead she got high, which she doesn't usually do anyway. But she really did that Friday. She spent Friday night like super fucking paranoid and way more quiet than usual, which is way more quiet.
Which is all.
Right.
Because not quiet at all is her usual. But let me, she also spent all night thinking that Arturo was mad at her, which he was not.
Right.
She was just letting the paranoia get to her. And, oh shit, that was her text. She texted me today. Wait for
Is
it.
she having like weed withdrawals or something? And
No, she just got paranoid. She's not used to being high.
She did one weed, and now she's a weeds freak. Yeah, that's how that works. Man, this hurricane is really strong. I was not prepared for this.
So, right? No, I'm riding it like I did the last one, though.
did you
I'm
sit
not
and
evacuating.
spin or?
For $200, you can find out whether or not I sat and spun. So PD texted me today. Oh shit! Could my tongue feel weird because I smoked? Since I'm not a smoker, I'm gonna ask Leslie when I run by the house. I said yes, but if your hands feel like they're balloons, that's when you worry. I said Leslie doesn't remember what it's like to have a normal tongue. She said shit.
Okay, so we're past $1,000 now. So thank you, everyone. And there have been 2 recent $100 donations. So that's bad news for one of us. or
they want two,
boobs.
yeah.
Yeah, it could be either one. We'll see. Christian.ferris@gmail.com. Let me know. What
Can they
you
put like
think.
any instructions on there?
No, well, they could comment, but like, I don't think CCA wants our nonsense. Oh God, but it's all over there.
But they did anyway. So fuck it. You know what?
Oh God.
Do the damn thing.
I'm
like
so
we
sorry.
Do.
Okay, so I have to apologize to the board of Corpus Christi Atheists because our boobs thing is all over your fundraiser.
I'm on the board of Corpus Christi.
Okay, I'm sorry,
We're fine.
Heather. Okay.
We're fine. We're fine with it. Like I said, we've done it for less.
Okay.
You know what I feel like? You know those telethons with like Elvis and stuff like that? But like, did you know you can actually call into those phones? Like the PBS telethons?
Oh yeah.
They're answering no shit phones. I didn't know that. I thought they were just in the
I've
background
done
going.
that. No, I've done that before.
Which is terrible radio because I was just being cheesy and smiling on my phone. So, but yeah, apparently you can do that. I didn't know you could do it. I was like, I'm going to try it. And then I called and then like I hung up because I panicked because I wasn't going to donate money. I was just testing a thing. And then I saw the person get like confused and somebody obviously went like, no, pretend like you're talking. Don't just hang up, because she was like, and then started talking. I'm like, I feel like this is like one of those telethons, except nobody can call. Except I did give out my phone number on Facebook. So actually you can.
Although on Jay's comment with his $100 contribution, he says mine or PD and Heather's. So I say we do
Reb's
PD and
boobs.
Heather's.
He wants Reb's boobs with face for verification. So we're doing
I don't
that.
know. PD, let's vote on it. $100.
Then,
No. Reb does. Why does Reb get to make the call?
Well,
No,
it says or on there, so
we get to make
So
the call. But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I mean, why not
Yeah.
you and PD?
No.
Because it's funnier.
Because
this
it's
way.
funnier if we get to take a picture of you, and we'll do that right after the show. Post show, we'll do it back post show. Anyway,
I don't like this now.
It's for the hurricane victims.
all right, we're like running real long, and there are kids trapped in rooms. Alan Fergenhoff in the chat room said that wasp stings hurt like fuck. Yes, it like seriously, that hurt so much. It was like the sting itself, but after like a minute, then and for like a day,
That's
it was
when the crying
awful.
happened.
Okay, there was no crying. Oh, there's a little crying.
PD
There's
says
some
she's
crying.
totally in for the boob picture, by the way, Heather. So
All right, PD boob pictures.
All right. Pablo Picasso in the chat room says he respects our decision to stay, and we'll just leave it at that. Thank you for listening to Atheist Airwaves, sponsored by Corpus Christi Atheists and the South Texas Coalition of Reason. We have a lot of people to thank for helping to support our efforts tonight, and I hope I don't forget anyone.
And please help support them.
Yes. Deb Bienen from FACT, the Freethinkers Association of Central Texas. They are out of San Antonio. They're awesome. Like, honestly, all
And
of
she's
us-
donated tonight.
She donated tonight, and we have all gone up there many times because they bring
amazing
speakers all the time. It's a wonderful organization. The East Texas Freethinkers.
And she's so fucking classy. Right, though?
Is she like the 10th classiest person that we know?
She's like the first classiest atheist
after Sally.
woman I know.
After Sally, yeah.
Sorry, this is all inside jokes.
This is insider CCA baseball right here.
Yeah. East Texas Freethinkers out of Tyler, Texas, who have offered to donate materials to us. Thank you guys.
Not only
up there.
donate, but bring down too.
Yeah.
Like all the way, Tyler, Texas is all the way by Dallas, and we're all the way not by Dallas, and that's a far ass way.
That's a 6-hour drive.
Right.
Yeah, that's no kidding. That's beyond. Matt Dillahunty, thank you so much for being on our show.
You went above and beyond. Thank you.
You can reach him through the Atheist Experience and patreon.com/atheist debates. Anthony Magna Bosco of Street Epistemology fame, whom you can watch on YouTube, and he also donated. Thank you so much.
I did a cool live stream today. I caught a little bit of it.
Dude, he has been in contact with me all day. Like, if people don't get back to you, get with me, and I'll, like, live tweet they asses and be like, what's going on right now? And he has done everything. And one thing I want to read, because I adore him. He's super awesome. I want to say that while we were trying to get our shit up and running, he said, you guys are awesome. Troopers, atheist troopers, free-thinking atheist troopers, waterlogged free-thinking atheist troopers.
Right, though. Ishmael from Angry Black Rant, who helped us out. Thank you so much. He's been in the chat hole, but not lately. You should come back, hang out. You should maybe actually be on the show and not
be driving home when we call you.
Right, something like that. Daryl Ray, read his books, listen to his podcast, the Secular Sexuality podcast. He can say it really well.
He can do it like 3 times fast.
And and me on Hurricane, not so much. Seth Andrews from The Thinking Atheist, and also we have his nifty mugs that we got from him when we met him at Daryl Ray's party. Who else? Last but not least, Prebes, for making all of this hurricane possible. Not Hurricane Harvey, but the hurricane we're drinking, and also for his work on the Normalize Atheism project. So please visit them on Facebook. He posted all over there. So not only should you like their page, but then go over and like his post on their page and tell them that you donated, and tell them they can get their names waxed in my. I feel like we can't have I don't have that much chest hair, so the person.
It's enough.
We'll make it work.
It'll be painful regardless, and that's really what you're showing up for, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
So also thank you to everyone who is donating their time and their money or their materials to helping people here in South Texas. We greatly appreciate it. Again, bit.ly.com/CCA Harvey, patreon.com/Atheist Airwaves. If you support our show for the next 2 weeks, we're donating all of that money to the CCA fund. Thank you to Tombstone to Dead Man for our outro music. We appreciate you, man. We will see all of you again next Tuesday, 7:30 Central, for our regular show. See ya.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Jesus, fuck.
I need your thing back so that we can actually have outro music. This thing.
Oh, do the thing.
I'm doing the thing.
All right.
This is me doing the thing.